Heyo, so planets, what are we on, 5 now? So let's learn how to put some rings on these planets. We're gonna put a ring on it. So we just did our sun. I'm looking at my layers panel over here. I've got a lot of layers over here. They are all named, as yours should be as well. If I want to see more of them, I can hover over the little line between these menus and kind of shrink up the menus to make them smaller but still visible. Or again, like I showed you, double click and you can hide it if you need to. But I want to be able to see my layers because we're going to be popping around them. All right, so I feel like I'm going to add this planet over here is begging for a ring, I think. So I'm going to find that planet, again, using the eyeballs here, or I named that planet Heather, so I know that that is planet Heather. Then there's Heather Shadow, okay? Above Heather and Heather Shadow, I'm going to add a new layer, okay? I'm going to add a ring, but it needs to be on its own layer so that I can erase part of it and so that I can make just that layer glow, okay? So here's a layer and I can call this Heather Ring 1. Maybe I'll put more than one ring on it. All right, so I'm going to use the circle selection tool, okay, over in my toolbox. I'm going to come over here and rather than drawing a circle, I'm going to draw a narrow oval, okay? So it's just going to be a little narrow oval. If I don't like it, I can draw it again. And there it is. So we know how to use the paint bucket to fill things. In addition to filling things, you've got to fill. You also have a stroke, which is the outline. So the outside edge is called a stroke. I'm going to go up to my edit menu up top. So edit. I'm going to go down instead of fill, that's a paint bucket. I'm going to go to stroke. And with the stroke, it's going to allow me to pick a color. So I'm going to pick a color. I can either pick a color that I want, just a totally contrasty color, or I can pop over here and say, I'm going to suck up that green color, but maybe brighten it up a bit. Okay. So I'm going to make a green ring. The width, 3 pixels is tiny. I'm going to go maybe, let's try 12 pixels to see how that works. I can either make it on the inside of my dancing ants, in the center, on the outside. This one, it doesn't really matter. I just want to tell you that you can change where it actually goes. And then I'm going to click OK. Okay, so you can see that it created an oval and it's right on top of my planet. Well, in order to make this oval look like the planet is inside, all I need to do is erase part of the back. So in order to erase, I want to get rid of these dancing ants. So ants are a selection. Okay, so I'm going to go up to the select menu up top. So it's in between type and filter. There's the select menu, and I'm going to go down to deselect. The shortcut for deselect is Command D or Control D to deselect whatever is selected. Now I'm going to grab the eraser tool. So the eraser tool is just the plain old eraser tool. It works just like a paintbrush. So up top, I can change the size here. I can change what the brush looks like if I wanted to. I just want a fuzzy edge. So this is a hard edge. Notice the edges are hard compared. This is fuzzy. This is hard. If I want to, I can just pull the hardness of that brush down. And now I have a fuzzy edge brush. Okay, well, sorry, it's an eraser. I'm going to actually come over here because I can see the size of the brush. And I am just going to use my bracket keys on my keyboard and I'm going to erase it down just a tad. The reason I want it fuzzy is I'm going to click really close to the edge. I don't want to go that far because it's going, that's too much. So Control Z back. I want to go right to the edge. I'm going to click and then I might have to click it a couple times because I have a fuzzy edge brush. It's going to fade off, but I want it to fade right on the edge of that planet. And then I'm going to erase this way. You can see why we're not doing this on the same layer, because then I would be erasing my planet So make sure you are on a new layer. So I'm going to just nudge up against the side and I just kind of keep clicking until I get that nice and kind of faded out to the back side. So that is one ring. I can rotate this ring if I want to, just like I move my planets or change the size of my planets. I can go up to the edit menu. I can go to free transform, and free transform not only changes the size. I don't want to change the size, but if you notice my arrows turn to a curve when I go off to the corner. When you get that curve, that's rotate. So I can go and rotate my ring. I might need to move it down just a tad and move it back into place. Or I might need to erase a little bit more because of the placement. But say I want a ring that goes this way. So I might just grab the eraser tool. I'm going to come back in here and erase a little bit more of that ring. And then now I have this ring. I can go and add another ring if I wanted to. Do I want it in its own layer? Of course I want it in its own layer. So this is Heather ring 2. And then I can go and add ring 2. I'm going to try to get in the center. I'm using the arrow keys to just kind of nudge it over a little bit so that's in the right spot. Again, edit stroke. Edit stroke. This one I think I'm going to make yellow. So I'm going to suck up that yellow right there. Make it a little bit brighter yellow though. So at least I kind of started with the right color. Click OK. There's my yellow. Select, deselect. Deselect. I did deselect it. I did the wrong one. It's all right. Eraser tool. Okay, nudge up against the edge. And then here's my other ring. All right. If I want, I could move. I feel like the planet's like not sitting in the rings very well. So rather than moving both rings, which I could do, I can just move the planet. But check this out. If I move Heather, I have to also move Heather's shadow. If I hold shift and click on Heather's shadow, now they're both going to move. If I click the move tool, they're both going to move together. Okay. So my rings are kind of, I'm going to have to erase and move some stuff around, but I kind of want to position this a little bit more in the center. And it looks like I'm going to need to click on ring 2, that yellow ring, and I can just move that one over, which I'm not against. Okay, now they look a little bit better. I don't want it down a little bit, just on the move tool. This time I'm just using the arrow keys just to kind of nudge it into place. I'm going to go back to ring 1. I'm on the green ring and I'm just clicking to nudge that down a little bit. I can see I've got a little bit of that green ring still right there. I want to make sure that I erased all of it. Perfect. So now I need to make them glow. So just like we did before with the sun, I'm going to go to ring 1. I'm going to go to layer effects. I'm going to go down to outer glow. It's going to open this window. It's glowing in the same color. I'm just going to glow it in yellow because, oh, is this the green one? Let's see. Opacity. Oh, ooh, yeah, I'll glow this one in yellow and glow the other one in green. That'll be nice. So the opacity is how much I can see it. Noise is how asteroidy it is, how noisy it is. I want these to be kind of smooth, so I'm going to pull the noise down. Spread is how light it gets, how quickly, and the size is the size of the glow, like the whole spread. So I can change this. I change the technique. I can be precise and then really get into the size and the spread of it. I want that to, the gradient to spread out pretty. Oh, I don't want, oh, I see. I don't want it to spread that much. There we go. There we go. I want a little bit more, less noise. All right. I can always click the little preview button and be like, no glow, glow, no glow, glow. Notice I've got some glow kind of going on over here. It's fine. It just means I didn't erase my ring very well. So I'm going to come back over here. It's just a little bit more eraser. Okay, get rid of that. Anything that's glowing on the planet that you don't want there. So then I can go to ring 2, excuse me, and then add the outer glow again. Here's a trick. Say you love this glow. I can come over here. I can right click and I can go down to copy layer style. So an effect is a layer style. When I copy that layer style, I can go up to ring 2, right click, paste layer style. It's going to paste that same glow. Oops, I need to go and clean this up a little bit. My eraser. I was clicking a lot when I was over here, so I want to clean that up a little bit. So if I wanted that same glow, I could do that. I could then go Heather onto Heather Planet, right click, paste layer style. Now I have that same glow. Oh, that's kind of cool looking. Outside of Heather's Planet, but it looks like I've got some random marks over here that I made when I was making the planet. Again, the eraser tool will just take that extra stuff off. But again, it's also going to erase your planet, which is kind of cool too. But if you don't want these extra things, don't worry, it's not going to erase your ring because that is on its own layer. Okay. So your planets can have outer glows. I can always click on this. This is for the planet. I can make this one actually a little bit bigger because it is the planet that I want to glow. And I might actually make this a little bit darker so that it's not overshadowing or overglowing the rings. All right, so that's rings for you. Okay, make sure you save, file save as you are working or when you get done with a certain portion so that you have a good saved copy. All right, next up, stars and galaxy dust.